have a body world show in St. Louis. They took out all skin the body.
And spread them out.
Huge. Yeah, very huge. And it turned out it's the best perceiving organ. But you can't feel beyond this.
Okay.
See, so it's very fresh and very, very true to your body. Not out there. It's right here.
Medical sciences usually would delve into the five senses: the eye, the nose, ear, tongue.
The tongue and body.
However, in Buddhism, we also explore the sixth, which is the mind itself.
Westerner, if you ask them how many sense organs you have, they will always say five. In Buddhism, they say six. But it's not enough, you know. You have to have eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nasal consciousness, tongue consciousness, bodily consciousness, and then mind consciousness. See, we have like subject, object, say object, and the eye is a subject, and then you have to have eye consciousness to understand this is a glass of tea, a cup of tea, and so on. So, see, the physical aspect we can see with realize through eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, but the mind also understand that. But through this eye consciousness, ear consciousness, and so on, the eye can perceive indirectly. But the mind consciousness also perceive the mental aspect, which the physical organ, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body cannot do. It can see itself, or the mind, which is formless, see through mental activity. That's why the Buddha come to understand how it works without sophisticated tools over 2,500 years ago.
In the concept of a mind consciousness, which is the sixth sense itself, what studies in sciences would be nowadays close to that? Of course, we're just stepping into just the border of looking at the brain activities, and there are lots more of possibility.
Like right now, one of the interesting findings is that you can see through your brain, through electrical impulse, like I mentioned. The mind consciousness can see whether you perceive through your eye, your nose, tongue, and body, through the eye consciousness and so on, ear consciousness. It turned out like this is like electrical impulse. Like say when you see things through your eyes, through a retina, that's the end of the eye function. The rest will be eye consciousness, like electrical impulse. So they use lens for a blind person, like put 3 lenses there for long distance, close distance, and the intermediate distance, and then transmit those into electrical impulse and pump into electrode, touch on the tongue to bypass the skin. Because you have taste bud, the nerve ending here. And you can tell that blind person, the brain used to be silent. As soon as I put this in, it lit up the part of sensory here, but also lit up in the back part about the eyes.
This is for a blind person?
Right. And you hook up with the electrodes and the lens and so on.
What if a regular person
he can throw ball in the basket correctly.
Wow.
So he can see it lit up the back of his brain.
And in case a person who can see regularly, what if I blindfold myself?
Yeah,
does it
study
need
like
practice?
that too. There's a study about the blindfold medical student for 5 days.
5 days?
By second day, and you start having these activities. And they teach them Braille, you know, the Braille for the blind person. And it lit up a little bit on the sensory aspect of the brain. It also lit up in the back of the brain where the visual cortex is. So how can you feel and lit up in the back of the brain where the visual is? It turned out the same thing as you said. You put your hand in your pocket. You can tell this is a keychain, and this is a coin. It's a 10 baht, okay, or 5 baht. You don't have to look at it. It lit up the same place. And more importantly, when they use a large magnet to wave around the back of the head, not even touch it, all the Braille interpretation was incorrect for both the blind and the blindfold person. See, it's amazing. So we know now you can interject by using different pathway. Like you have cochlear implant for the people who are deaf. The perceiving organ, you bypass the nerve ending there. perceiving organ. You can bypass to the brain directly. Same thing with the eye. You can blindfold them and then kind of equip them with the lens. They can see things beyond what the eye can perceive.
Very interesting, and probably it is scary if the applications of this type of finding could pretty much alter the perception and mind control.
I think it has some meaning because when we do meditation, like Luang Por Tien, who teaches technique, he said, observe your body, see mind. Because the mind is formless. So you observe your body, you're aware of your movement, body, you see mind. Because the same awareness makes you see the mind. The mind movement, which is your thought. Okay, observe your thought, see the truth of Dharma. Because the thought is the mental activities. You see the truth about mind, mental activities, and nirvana, and the form, the four ultimate realities.
We have a few minutes left on the show. Any suggestions for the viewers living in the city, and how do we practice in our daily lives to gain a little more understanding of the mind? And perhaps on your next visit, when or how could they contact and know that you'll be doing more symposiums in the country?
I think one thing that you can do in your daily living, you can meditate all day. I didn't know that until I learned this technique about insight meditation, like especially the dynamic rhythmic meditation. When I first learned this technique, I was young then. I dared to drive in Bangkok.
It is one of the most difficult cities to drive, truly.
To be mindful and aware, I just circle my hand on the steering wheel. To be aware of myself, to know what I'm
Moving
in.
your fingers.
Just slide my hand on the steering wheel. So I'd be awake and aware of what I'm doing. So that way, same thing when you walk, when you talk. So the Buddha said, be aware when you're stepping forward or backward, looking ahead or sideways, stretching, bending, aware when you get dressed, aware when you eat, when you drink, when you chew, when you taste, aware of that. Aware even when you urinate or defecate. Aware when you walk, stand, sit, laying down. And then wake up, aware when you talk, aware when you remain silent. That's about the self-awareness technique, which is very mundane but very powerful. And you can learn to do this. Like this technique is very useful, and you can apply it in your daily life because you do with your eye open. So if I talk with my hand, I catch, and it feeds on itself. Become more aware. It becomes automatic, autonomous. And then you be...
It helps in your thinking process
exactly,
as
because
well,
you don't
your speech.
cover with your bias. You think clearly. Decision is better, quicker, more decisive.
More focus on...
Because you're not... Say people are lured, they call you, invest with us, you get 3,000 times back.
Okay.
So now you just see, oh, he's trying to fool you.
And doing that helps you be more aware of yourself,
Right.
and focus in your thoughts, and not to trying to
be trapped in the bias.
Right. Well, time's up for this edition, but we do hope that you would have the time to visit us again. Perhaps, well, you would be going back to U.S. At the end of the month. Well, perhaps next time, in a few months, we would be grateful if you could make it to the show again.
Always enjoying coming.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Kongsak Tan Pai Chit, for visiting us today. And well, that's it for the time that we have for Dharma in Motion for this edition. Well, goodbye, and join us next time. สวัสดีครับ